Okay, everybody, Christopher Maida, the Meat and Potato Show, Conservative Talk and Awesome Rock. And I'm here at the Holliston Republican Town Committee meeting where Sean O'Connell just finished a great talk to the committee tonight, and we had a straw poll, and according to my guest here, many-time guest on the Meat and Potato Show, accordingly, it's the first straw poll here in Massachusetts. Unfortunately, Ryan Fadden was homesick, and please, Ryan, please drink some tea and get better, sir. So anyway, Marty, one of the things I wanted to ask you first off, you did a lot of work with question 1. I obviously must be very happy that that passed.
Oh, I'm not just happy, I'm thrilled that it passed. If a question like that to actually roll back a tax can pass in Massachusetts with grassroots supports, we were being looked at nationally because you know, all of the liberals were saying, oh, it's Massachusetts. We were really the test ground for them to have an automatic increase in a tax.
So here's the thing, too, about the gas tax. As I learned when I was doing the research and doing some of the signatures myself, is that could we consider this a test bed? I mean, if, let's say, devil's advocate, this thing had passed, and, I mean, it would just be a test bed to where things like the income tax would just automatically pass, inventory tax, sales tax. Yes?
Absolutely. In fact, what we did see that happening, I'm trying to think right off, there was another automatic increase that the state legislature in Massachusetts was looking at, in addition to this gas tax. Off the top of my head, I don't remember what it was.
They already had plans.
Yes,
the
they
second
did.
Death Star was already being constructed.
Because the thing, if we got away with that, we can get away with murder. And you know, it's a representation, taxation without representation. And that way, 2 years, 4 years down the road, you can go to your legislator and say, well, our gas tax went up, and you know, they were just elected 2 years ago, they could look at you in the eye and say, I didn't vote for it. It's automatic. It's automatic.
There's no accountability.
That's exactly what our concern was, no accountability, and that's why we went to work after that automatic increase. Yes, we don't like taxes, we want to roll back the taxes, that's a given, but that wasn't our primary motive. It was to get rid of the non-accountability.
So bring us back to the beginning, how you first found out about this, what started the petition drive, quite literally, the seeds that were planted. Tell us about
okay, Chinese food.
Okay. That always works for me.
4 of us sitting around a table over Chinese food. Myself, Jeff Deal, Steve Aylwood out of Watertown, and Arthur Robichaud. We're sitting down, and Holly brought in a friend of hers who actually does ballot initiatives for the signature community. And she bribed him to come meet with us, you know, over the Chinese food. And said, yeah, will you sit down with my group? Now, he thought he was potentially going to get a client because he makes money by going out and getting signatures professionally. Little did he know that we never intended of paying for votes. Our motivation was, and our thought process was, if we do a ballot initiative, it will be grassroots. It's the only way that we want to do it, because if the people can get it done, then it's a good thing. If we need to pay for it, that's not what we're in there.
Yeah, it seems like it just, there's action groups behind it, there's money behind it, right?
And so we were also all instrumental in the signature drive for Mike Sullivan when he ran for Senate. And again, Mike was the only candidate in that Senate race, the primary race, that didn't pay for signatures. And it was a short time period, the middle of the winter, and it was all grassroots. And we were looking back and saying, we did it. Can we do it again? Yep.
So you did. We did.
So we did.
Well, here's the thing. My good friend behind the camera, Wayne, and I, we actually got the petitions and we joined that movement. We got a ton of signatures for it. Then this was back in November. I've probably got my years mixed up, but anyway, it was late fall. We got a bunch of signatures. We turned everything in, and then we were on some trip. We were on a trip in April to go down to Gun Rally in Connecticut, and we found out from Ralph Belmore of the Marlboro Tea Party that that somehow, I don't know, something had changed or the rules had changed?
Well, no, it's not that the rules
Okay.
that changed. The way it works in Massachusetts.
We had to get more signatures.
Yes, the way the system works in Massachusetts is you go out and get a certain amount of signatures based on a percentage of the last gubernatorial race, and then the state legislature can do one of a number of things. They could either say, okay, great, you're on the ballot. Yes, that's going to happen in Massachusetts. They could, or the other option is they can say, screw you, go get
You're on the
X
meat and potato show, don't worry.
yeah, that's right. I know. I can say, go get more signatures,
Right.
and that's allowed under the law, and that's exactly what they did. And you know, because they didn't want this to pass. So
Now, you obviously helped start it, you were there with Desiree and everybody
Right.
else, but eventually you moved away, you separated to
Right.
form a PAC, a Political Action Committee.
I'll
So
tell
tell
you
us the story
exactly.
behind it.
What part of what we wanted to do as a group is to support Republican conservative candidates who are running for office and to help them in their 2014 election cycle. And, you know, we're out there. This is an all-in. We're not doing it for our own glory. We're doing it to turn over the state. We want to get good people elected, pro-taxpayer candidates. And we started to throw out some comments and thoughts as a committee, a ballot initiative committee, and the OCPF, the Office for Campaign and Political Finance of the state, said, you can't do
Wow.
that. You were a ballot initiative organization, you cannot comment on any candidates. You cannot say that incumbent, for example, in Holliston, Carolyn Dykema, supports an automatic increase in taxes because that's campaigning for a candidate. You can't say that Ryan Fatman, candidate for Senate in the Worcester District, Milford, next door to us, supports repealing and rolling back that automatic tax. You can't even talk about their name. So what we did is, as a committee, and I was one of the sponsors, original signatures, and co-chair of the ballot initiative, I stepped down from that committee completely on the OCPF filings, and I filed my own PAC, a fundraising political action committee under Massachusetts law whose purpose, as stated, was to support candidates who are pro-taxpayer and who support the repeal and rollback of automatic taxes.
So to a crazy degree, you were able to support
Right.
candidates, yet still somehow...
So I could support the candidates, but the kicker was I couldn't talk to Desiree, who's the campaign manager.
I remember that. She and I had conversations about that, right?
Who was the campaign manager and field manager for question one, because we're not supposed to have any contact on any political discussion. I couldn't talk to Jeff Deal, but I could call up Ryan Fatman and say, I'm endorsing you because you're, as my PAC, because you're a candidate who supports the rollback, and is pro-taxpayer. But I couldn't comment on, in my press releases, I had to be very careful of saying, I'm supporting him because of his stand on taxes. I think he's great on Beacon Hill, but I can't say because he supports question one.
Thank you for your time so much. I know you're busy tonight. One last thing here. How long have you been involved with the Holliston Town Committee, the Republican Town Committee? What's your position?
I'm the chair of the committee. Unfortunately, we have a very small committee. It's just a handful of us, and no matter what we do, we're trying to draw people in, and we're looking for any excuse like a straw poll to get people. The majority of the people here tonight were from surrounding towns, which isn't a bad thing, because having a regional event is a wonderful
Well, that's
thing.
what a straw poll is.
Right, exactly, and I think we get for the straw poll purposes, we got a better feeling of the pulse of the community, but we're trying to grow the committee.
Certainly. Interestingly enough, Wayne and I came back from CPAC in Washington. They had a straw poll, and Rand Paul, of course, won
Right.
it there.
Of course.
What was interesting is that Scott Walker here in Massachusetts won it. Did you have any preconceived notions about that?
Well, I was a little surprised by the results. I'm not surprised that Scott Walker actually did well, because he's polling nationally very high right now, and the mainstream media is calling him. The mainstream is pushing, Jeb Bush.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they want him, and then after the primary, if he gets the nomination, of course they'll be trashing him. But that goes no matter who it is. I'm surprised that it was so heavy for one candidate, and that, for example, Ted Cruz didn't do a little better. Jeb didn't get anything, and I'm surprised he didn't get one or two.
Even that seat, they had the trucking people.
A vote or two for Rand, I thought maybe would happen.
No, he took it.
No, here.
Here.
I'm not surprised that Chris Christie didn't get anything yet here. I don't think he's a player, but the names are on there.
Marty, thank you so much.
I have something I want to.
No, we're gonna stop. Thank you so much, Marty.
Okay.
Yeah, you can ask.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Ask Sean.